Google canceled its power meter application, and Microsoft is canceling Home as well because they didn't get the number of users that they'd hoped. I think part of the problem was that there wasn't an infrastructure in place to get information on home energy use onto the web. So you need a smart meter, or you need some sort of hardware device that's going to read that information and feed it onto the web. I think there were some other problems too, in that they were trying to work through utilities who may or may not be very interested to work with these big giant software companies. It's a new market, you know. I think they were really just trying to feel out and see what sticks with consumers and what doesn't. There's been a lot of talk about what this means for the rest of the home energy monitoring companies that are out there. I think there's a market. It's just a question of, again, getting the infrastructure in place and finding what sticks with users. I mean, right now it's kind of in that early stage, you know, kind of the energy geeks, people who are really energy conscious want to know how much energy they're using. Their departure is a sign that it's not easy to make money in this field, but you know, my sense is that it's going to take hold, but it's happening slowly. There are really big advantages of working with a utility to improve consumer efficiency. And for starters, consumers have a relationship with the utility, so who else would they think of? There are also these efficiency programs that utilities run. So the whole energy monitoring and the efficiency that those can get for consumers can tie in to these efficiency programs. If a utility does have a smart grid trial, say, and they've realized that they've found a good formula for helping consumers save money, if they want to, they can scale up quickly. I mean, a small company, you know, you're talking about selling directly to consumers, that could take a while, but a utility, if they find a good formula that works and they can get it past the regulators in a way that you know, everybody's happy with, it can scale very quickly. The smart grid, particularly the consumer-oriented stuff, is stuck in this pilot land where you're trying things out and you're dabbling, and it's not really taking off. Energy Hub is selling directly to consumers, and you know, when I talked to them, they said they saw no reason not to do this. So they are working with utilities, but they are seeing this demand from people who say, "Hey, I'd like to try this thing out. Can I get my hands on it?" And they finally said, "Sure, we'll just start selling directly to consumers. We don't have a whole lot to lose." And in the process, they are going to find out kind of what sticks. There's a lot of questions as to what's going to work. I mean, I think people are trying all kinds of different approaches to home energy management. You can define it in lots of different ways. People are trying to figure out what the business model is that's going to make people money and appeal to consumers. My point is that I think it's going to appeal to those gadget lovers, those people who want to try the latest and greatest technology. Over time, to reach a mass market, they're probably going to have to come up with something cheaper, and that's where maybe a smartphone application or some sort of web portal or maybe a simpler monitoring device, those type of things may appeal to a broader audience. You know, it's funny that the predictions for home energy management have been scaled back. I think in the past year or so, people thought like, hey, people are going to love these things. It's great to get real-time energy. You know your energy use before you get your bill. What we've seen in practice is that it's slow going. Again, it goes back to these utilities and how a lot of these programs are tied up in smart grid projects, which are moving slowly. People just don't spend a lot of time thinking about their home energy use. I mean, there are some, who really do care, but others, they don't really want to think about it much. I do think that the kind of combination of better information, some automation, sort of like putting your home on cruise control, like when you leave the house, a new setting goes in, and you can combine that energy efficiency or energy management with other features like home security or your media system or whatever it is. So I think it's going to creep in. It's going to take a while, and what form it takes is kind of still up in the air.